my diesel. Damn. Get off my diesel. Goddamn. Get off my diesel. Damn. Get off my diesel. Damn. Damn. Diesel. Damn. Damn. Diesel. Damn. Damn. Diesel.
Yo, what is good, YouTube? Welcome back to another video. I'm your host, the conservative libertarian here. And yes, sir, we're back with another one. All right. We got the CNN panel, right? We got Miss Abby Phillips. Miss Abby Phillips. When's Miss Abby Phillips ever going to get married? She's a beautiful lady. She should definitely try to find a man to settle down with. Does she have a husband? Someone need to figure that out. You know what I'm saying? Beautiful women like this should not be working so much, man. They should be living the best life with their husbands and their kids, right? Controversial statement, right? Controversial right there, right? But Abby Phillips, right? We got her in a panel of a bunch of, talkers, the military I guess military celebration or event where they did a little bit of talking to the military troops and to the generals about what they should and shouldn't be doing and meeting standards and and people are mad because Hegseth called people fat. I'm not gonna say that whole speech thing was necessary because honestly they didn't have to have a whole speech about it, but I mean, hey, if that's how they want to put their military on blast, then I mean go ahead. You know what I'm saying? He called out some generals, he called out a lot of the people out there, who aren't meeting the health code. So I'm just saying, but people are mad about that. So we're gonna get into this CNN panel and see what they had to say about the whole talk.
Listening to this 45-minute speech was, don't we have bigger fish to fry? Like China, like drone warfare, like Russia on the march? I cannot imagine that people's beards rise to the level of dragging all the military admirals and generals into Quantico for a lecture. I'm not understanding this.
Sounds like you're into the beardos.
I don't get it. Somebody explain it to me.
I think you're right. And I think that's the problem. It's unprecedented. It's unacceptable. It's overtly political and partisan. Mm-hmm. And if you watch that speech, whether you were a general or just someone on TV, you'd think that our enemies are fat generals, the city of Portland, Trump's political enemies, and DEI. And it's a really low point for the division that's supposed to exist between our partisan politics and our military. The shining part of it, the silver lining, if you will, is that the generals kept their military bearing. Yeah. They didn't applaud, they were stoic, and they showed why they are the guardrails that are protecting our military and much of our democracy from what is a very extreme political agenda that from Hegseth sounded kind of like a culture war TED Talk, rather than a proper, respectful address to our senior military leaders.
I want to play a little bit more from Hegseth. This is where he's talking about those pesky rules of engagement.
We are preparing every day. We have to be prepared for war, not for defense. We fight to win. We unleash overwhelming and punishing violence on the enemy. We also don't fight with stupid rules of engagement. We untie the hands of our warfighters to intimidate, demoralize, hunt, and kill the enemies of our country. No more politically correct and overbearing rules of engagement. Just common sense, maximum lethality, and authority for warfighters.
Troy, I mean, is the argument here, let's go back to barbarian warfare where there are no rules of engagement, everything goes, no such thing as a war crime, you can do whatever you want? Is that the argument?
So warfare is fundamentally something that is very hard to write down in the international law, the law of war. I would say what we heard here today was not a speech for the pundit class or the journalist class or even the generals and admirals in that room. I think it was a speech for the warrior class. And he spoke about the warrior class a lot in his book, on his show, and he's building that military. And by warrior class, he means the few families across this country and the same towns that have, since we become an all-volunteer force, have consistently bore the brunt and the sacrifice, especially in the post-9/11 era, of that service. And I think he's speaking directly to them. And these are the 65% of the veteran population that voted for the Trump-Vance ticket for President Trump.
And truly, I don't see a problem with what he had to say. I don't see a really big problem having fat generals. I don't know if that's a complete issue because aren't the generals not the ones who are in the warfare? They're not the ones in war anymore. But I get having someone as a representation or setting the example. Like, you are the generals, so you need to accept the examples for the privates and all the lieutenants below you to follow. But at the same time, too, I don't see 100% an issue with that. But I also don't see a problem with what he said. This is the standard that Hegseth is trying to set in his military. In his military, he can do do that. It's the same way if someone else who was the Department of War, in the Department of War, and they wanted to set a certain type of standard code for their military operatives, or you know what I'm saying, and their operations, let them do it. I don't see how this is so controversial. And I know that's kind of hard. It's kind of hard for people to like take words from meaning, but you have to just take what he said for face value instead of trying to grab meaning from all the different type of words that he said. You know, that's how I see it. You know what I'm saying? If I was in the military, I'd probably just take it on the chin because he's my leader. He's obviously the man in charge. So, I mean, I have to take that shit on the chin and be like, fuck it. You know, I can obviously have my own personal opinion about it. At the end of the day, I signed up to be a part of the military. And this is what the military is. This is what they're asking for the military. So I don't see how this is controversial.
What's the message to them? Is the mess again? I think my question is
The message is
just
come
on
back.
We're
back.
In a concrete way. When he says the stupid rules of engagement, let's also remember that this is the Pete Hegseth who lobbied President Trump to pardon people who were convicted of war crimes. So is that what we're saying? We're okay with war crimes now?
I mean, obviously, we're okay with war crimes. We support a country that's committing atrocities right now.
But I mean,
as
the
we speak.
United States military.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. He's saying
yeah.
the rules are actually written down. They're called the Geneva Convention. And most of the modern world and Western world abides by them because it's a code of conduct. It's what holds us above the standards of our enemies. But the audience was not the warrior class. It wasn't the generals. It was the TV cameras. It was the base. And maybe it was the world in some way because they wanted to say, look, we have control over the most powerful military on the planet. And there's nothing that the Democrats or the moderate Republicans or anyone else can do. So it was a giant flex of their culture war, of their ideology, of the way they want to reimagine not just the military, but the country. That's really what this was. And that's why I think it's such a low point for our military because they're again being dragged into some of the most divisive issues of our time.
For over 2 decades, we've been fighting wars to fight them, not to win them. And we need to build a military.
Did you and I not fight to win?
We fought to win, but the politicians and a lot of senior leadership did not fight to win.
Why do you say that?
A lot of those
We didn't have clear goals.
A lot of those senior leaders in the room,
we did not have clear
decorated
goals.
veterans who served in
We
Iraq
did
and
not follow a
Afghanistan.
doctrine that goes in with overwhelming force.
It felt pretty overwhelming at
we
times. when I was
absolutely
there.
had,
Right, but we stayed
absolutely
there
used
for 20
overwhelming.
years, and we abandoned
Troy-
it with the fall of Saigon on live TV with people
But
falling out of
Troy-
an airplane.
Troy, are you arguing that there was not the use of overwhelming force when we bombed the crap out of Iraq? Is that really the argument?
No, the argument is that we fought for 20 years. We did take out terrorist networks. We took out the network and the leader who attacked this city in the largest terrorist attack in world history. And we also engaged in nation building, and these were very abstract
But
missions.
how is that a problem with the war? I mean, I'm not understanding. Why is that a problem for the war fighters and not the politicians who decided that the answer to that problem was war, a war that that didn't make sense to fight, we couldn't
when
win.
I was governor, I was in Iraq.
That's a political problem, it seems like to me, not a military problem.
When I was governor, I was in Iraq 5 times, Afghanistan 3 times. We had a chance to visit with lots of troops, including some special operators. And one of their complaints, among others, in terms of the rules and engagement, weren't always war crimes. They weren't advocating for war crimes, all in fairness. They were just saying simple things like, we can't even do particular raids at night in certain compounds or situations. Now, that's a common sense thing. They like the stealthy nature of nighttime raids. But they felt they were being held back in certain circumstances, not all. There were certainly plenty of nighttime raids. And that's just one example. Maybe there are some rules of engagement that could be reviewed and improved upon.
And there's some people who said we want to go into
He said about how, you know, it takes us too long to finish wars. And then, you know what I'm saying, you can even say with the whole Afghanistan, you know, saying with the whole pull from Afghanistan, how terrible of a disaster that was, you know what I'm saying? So it's like we're not really, the military has done a really good job of protecting its citizens. I will say that the military has done a phenomenal job for like a long period of time of protecting United States citizens. But at the same time too, they haven't been as deliberate with what their intentions are and what they're trying to do when they're going to these areas and places and you know, drumming up issues. But as Pete Hegseth has been in the military and as the head of the military, you know, everything that he's done so far has been with brutal force, you know what I'm saying, has been done with succession and with, you know, quick fashion, you know what I'm saying, like when he did that whole strike to Iran's facility, people didn't even know that shit happened until they got up on their phones and watched the video. And that's how good The military is like, they're that good. Now I can't say if they were that good before, because we never saw some stuff like this. The only thing that I will say that the military was really good on, that I remember very vividly, was during the attack to get Osama bin Laden. When Obama did that, yeah, he got credited hell for that, because that needed to be done for sure. Like I said, they want to say why this is an issue for Pete Hegseth to talk about it. Well, why is it a big issue for you guys to drum up a whole issue about it? Like, you know what I'm saying? The hypocrisy can go both ways on this. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about this video. Is Pete Hegseth wrong? Is he right? Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments below. Yeah, I appreciate you guys, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.